Hey guys, so what you're about to listen to is the audio from a YouTube episode or YouTube video, however you want to call it. And what I've decided to start doing, in addition to going live on Instagram and doing live podcast recordings, so I have both video format for Instagram and to connect with you guys live, and taking that audio and putting it here on the podcast. I'm also going to be doing that with my YouTube channel as I focus on YouTube. So, to avoid burnout, to avoid giving myself double work, um, and not really just to avoid doing double work, but also to work efficiently and get the content out to as many platforms as possible. Like, why not place it here on the podcast? This is also making it more convenient for you, so that if you can't watch YouTube or YouTube is just not your thing, you can still grab the YouTube content over here on the podcast. So that's what I'll be doing moving forward. So what you're about to listen to is the episode on clients, how to deal with difficult clients. So let's get to that. Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm Casa Marina. I am a creative online entrepreneur, and my channel is a place for entrepreneurs who are looking to build their brand online, grow their visibility, their business, and make money while they sleep. Today I just wanted to give a little bit of tea. So what tea means around my part of the internet streets, it's basically me just keeping it real and keeping it factual. All right. Okay, so entrepreneurs, we're all busy. And if you have been following me for any time, I went off on this in a blog post, I went off on this on Instagram, and I think it's time that I go off on, because I hear to hear people say that they're busy, because that just really sends the message that you are not important right now. It's not very respectful of other people's time when you set an appointment for a consultation call, and I know you've been there, where you have your free consultations to help people make the decision if you're the right provider for their business, and also for you to sift out if they are the right provider for your business. So we set up calendars, we set up all these forms, people spend the time to fill out these forms, and I had no idea that forms was such a hobby. I had no idea that people enjoyed filling out forms, because people fill out forms, then they go to step 2 and they click a time, and now granted they have no skin in the game because the consultation is free, but I didn't think forms were fun. Usually people grow up and be like, oh, these forms. People don't like to fill out forms, but for some reason, people fill out forms and don't show up for meetings. And then when you do follow up to say, hi, you didn't show up for your consultation call, you set aside your time to meet with them. This also applies to clients abandoning their projects and slow to giving feedback. So you really want to know, well, what happened? Things happen. You also want to see if it was an emergency. So you send them an email, or you send them a brief message from wherever you would have connected with initially. And then they're like, oh, well, I was busy doing some other work. It's rude to be so dismissive on the grounds that you're too busy to even have like some basic common courtesy. Even if you can't have common courtesy like before the call, like even after you miss it, it's not too late to touch base and just send something. This is not good for you as a personal brand. It says a lot about you. It says a lot about the way that you do business, and people will talk about you. Trust me, people will talk about you and say, that person, I'm not sure how serious they are about their business. I'm not sure, I can't really recommend them to work with them because they can't even show up for a consultation call, or they're not respectful of other people's time. It really does send a negative message to the people that you interact with when you don't respect other people's time. Not respecting other people's time shows up in the format of Missed deadlines, missed calls, not providing feedback on a timely basis. All these different things show that you're not respectful of other people's time. And please, entrepreneurs, nobody really cares. Nobody really cares. Like, people will understand if you come out and say something. Just say something. But just saying that you're busy it's disrespectful. This is a service of value that my business is providing to your business. So this is ultimately for you. Ultimately, yes, it's not personal, and I don't take it personal. What you are really saying is that you do not have the time for your own business, because this project is for you, for your business, and no one else's. It's about common courtesy. And I'm sorry, I'm old school like that, and I believe that manners maketh man. It just ultimately reflects on you as a person, you as an individual, you as a personal brand. It says a lot about you. And also keep in mind that if you've done this to other people, stop. That's something to think about. Please change your habits. Please change your ways. This is what makes consultations become paid, because if somebody tells you, hey, you have to pay for a consultation, there are some people who are like, oh, I have to pay just to talk to you. No, you're paying so that we know how committed you are. And I personally am trying my best to keep them free, but I'm really trying to just help you see if we are a good fit. If you made it this far, more than likely you could relate to the content in this video, and that also means that you're looking for the tips I have outlined in the description and the title of this video. Here are my 4 tips for dealing with clients who are busy, clients who are rude, clients who are just a little bit difficult to deal with, and the no-shows in general. First step is to stay calm. In the moment, you could feel tempted to go on social media, and that's not a good look for your business, or vent, or even just not bring the right energy when you do communicate with the client. So it's best to blow off that steam. Talk to someone in business who understands, speak to a colleague, and just basically get that off of your chest first before you even deal with the situation or send that email. Get calm and then go communicate. My second tip is to refine your intake process. Most times, clients who end up being difficult tend to be the ones who showed some red flag in the earlies, but you go against, your better judgment, and, not because you were just in it for the money or anything like that, but sometimes we go against our better judgment for the sake of, looking on the positive side of things, or thinking the best of other people, or being so positive and be like, oh, no, don't worry about it. I'm going to allow people to prove themselves. But sometimes it's more costly to give people that chance. Costly in terms of your reputation, costly in terms of like your bottom line. It's just, and even just your mental health as a business owner. And sometimes you really do have to buckle down, refine your process, so that you don't even have to deal with prospective clients who are difficult to work with, because it keeps them at bay. I talk more about, ideal clients and non-ideal clients in my free masterclass, my workbook, and also my course, Go From Basic to Branded. But basically, your process is going to keep them at bay. Your content, all of the stuff that you put out there as a brand will either keep them away and just attract more of your ideal clients. So you really have to refine your process, but also sometimes people slip through the cracks and they really love you and they want to work with you and they come anyway. You also have to refine your process so that you can more or less put them through a level of screening that allows you to determine, okay, yeah, this here is not going to work, this is a deal breaker. And you see things over time that reminds you of people who usually turn out to not be the right fit. Difficult people or difficult clients aren't bad people, and I don't hate, anybody or any type of client or anything like that. I have come to the understanding that it's just not a right fit. That's all it is. It's just not a right fit. you have different morals and values in terms of how you approach business, and they have different morals and values. And ultimately, they aren't bad people, they're just different, and it just doesn't turn out to be the most ideal situation. All right, so they will be better off finding somebody who suits them, and you're better off leaving space for those who better suit your business. Thirdly, time is money. So unfortunately, sometimes you just have to implement paid consultations as one. I know sometimes you try to avoid it. I mean, I myself have avoided it for years, and really, I don't want to make money off of, but it's not a matter of making money off of, but it's a matter of seeing how invested people are. Sometimes people just book for booking's sake, just to see and do. I mean, it's good to see and plan ahead, but that could be done with email. That could be done with asking questions. But if you have no plan to book someone's services within the near future, then don't get on a consultation call. So you put that there because it really stops a person to ask themselves, do I really need to get on a call? That's what paid consultations do. It really helps somebody evaluate, do I need this? When it's free, that question just never comes up. And it's also proven that when people prepay, they're also a whole lot more invested. So someone who's going to pay for that preliminary consultation are very serious about their intention to work with you, or for the very least, they understand why this is like this, and they're willing to do that in order to figure out if we're the right fit. And don't think of it as though you're really charging somebody for consultation, because I'm saying this with the context that you can always take the cost of that consultation and apply it to their bill for when they work with you. So let's say your package is $5,000 and the consultation is, let's say, $100, right? Then that person, when they're ready to book your services, all they're paying is $4,900, right? So that is one way. That's the third way. And the fourth way is to move on. All right. Moving on sometimes mean having to fire the client, wrap up the project, and just keep it moving. So in the case of like not getting feedback on time, just keep it moving. I know in the creative industry, we need clients' input. We need their feedback. We need their approvals. Set up your processes, your business, your contracts, all of that, to really outline the process and how it's going to go now. If this is a timeline and I don't get this by the state, we're going to move on to the next step without your feedback, because ultimately you're paying me to get a job done. And if I don't have the things that I need to get the job done, I'm going to move on without it. So that's another thing that you could implement. Now, if you are in a different field, see how this advice could apply in your aspect. And if you have questions and you need me to explain or give some ideas on how this could apply to your business, feel free to book a one-on-one consultation so that I can give the advice specific to your industry. But this would apply for many creatives and many people in the marketing department. We do need the business owners' input and feedback, but a lot of the time, business owners say they're busy, but then they hired this person to do a job. You can move on to the next level. Just make sure that it is outlined from the get-go that this is the process and this is how it goes, and make sure to cover yourself by including these things in your terms of service, your contract, etc., etc. All right, so you can move on, continue the project, and bring the project to completion. And then once the project is complete, with or without the stuff that you need, you can move on to continue to serve the people who are next in queue, next in line, your next appointment. You can move on and deal with them, and that this client who hasn't been very responsive doesn't keep you back, or doesn't create chaos in your business by having to organize your business to the whim and fancy of everybody else's schedule. Like, listen, when you go to any business place and there's a line, you either get in the line, get in queue, and wait your turn. And if you're not there, you lose your spot, right? You just have to keep moving on. Because I mean, really and truly, if department stores have expiry dates for when you can use a coupon, or when there's a sale, or if a service expires, then why should it be any different? Or why do we think it's any different for any other type of business? You determine the terms and conditions of how anything is executed in your business. So if you enjoyed these tips, if you found this video useful, feel free to like this video, comment, subscribe below. And if you want further help and support, I do have my Go From Basic to Branded workbook that you can find on Amazon, which I'll link in the description below. I also have a free branding masterclass, and I also have a course, Go From Basic to Branded, which complements the workbook. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hey, did you enjoy today's podcast? Then do me a huge favor and spread the word about this podcast. All right, just screenshot, upload to your Instagram stories, and tag me so that I know that you did it, because your support matters. We need to spread the word about the podcast, because if you enjoyed this podcast or it helped you in any way, we need to help others, and I would love to get the word out and have it help someone else too. When you share this podcast, it allows the podcast to grow, and it allows me to continue creating more content just like this for you. So, screenshot, share to your stories, and tag me. It will mean so much to me.